morning?
No.
Well, we haven't cranked up the stuff yet, have we?
By the way, if you're thinking of naming your firstborn child Hormuz, think again. There's an attitude that goes with being Hormuz that you have to take with you every day.
Well,
it never goes away.
I could see some people, wanting to, especially the rabid anti-gay people who are saying to themselves this today, well, I'm going to name the kid Hormuz because it's always the Strait of Hormuz.
I see what you're saying, yes.
So we want to make sure that it stays Strait of Hormuz and not the Gay of Hormuz.
If you're thinking about a name for your dog, your cat, or your child, think about Leo. It's turned out to be very popular today. It's short, it's sweet, it's representative of the great lion of the African veldt and other images of strength and reliability. And we got a pope named Leo who's doing very well. If you're trying to be on the top 40, you're better off being Leo today than you are being Donald. Yeah. Donald ain't going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, Leo, you want to be Leo, man. Leo's a very popular guy these days. Leo is he has a snap to his name. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be popular, but he's got, well, you know what? He's got the perfect combination. He's church, but he's not too much church. He's not overbearing church.
He's American, but he's Chicago American. You can handle that.
Chicago American. So he's not, and he's not a flag waver, and he's not he recognizes that we got some stuff we got to fix here.
And he's not afraid. He said today, I am not afraid of the Trump administration. I have no fear of these people.
What's the Trump administration going to do to them? I mean, they can't get out of their own way. They can't open up the Straits of Hormuz.
They can't open up the Epstein files.
They can't open up anything. What an absolute failure they are as an administration, as a governing body.
You've heard about open up a can of whoop ass. Well, they don't have any of that. And if they had some, they couldn't get the top off.
They don't have anything. We're Mikey and Vinnie, by the way. Michael Knight right there, New York Vinnie right here. He's the man with the Sonics shirt on. I guess you're waiting for the Sonics to come back to Seattle.
Doing a little basketball. I got Sonics here. I got the Warriors here. And in my heart, I got an empty spot waiting for a team to steal my heart.
There's a hole in my heart. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's some, and that's gathering momentum. I'm not yet convinced on the whole Sonics thing. I mean, I'm convinced that something will happen. Whether it will be that that things are going to go back to 1996.
Doubtful.
That's a very different thing. But I like the idea of it all. If it happens, I think that they really ought to make sure that they're going to put this thing in the right place. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not sold that the Climate Pledge Arena is the right place for the Sonics to be playing if they do come back.
The Sonic Pledge Arena?
The Climate Pledge Arena. That's what they call it. The Climate Pledge.
Does that have a meaning that I'm not picking up on immediately?
Yes, Amazon, the pledge to make the climate better. All the stuff that they've taken the Climate Pledge to use better stuff for shipping. It's a whole program with Amazon that says that Jeff Bezos will treat the environment
like he treats his ex-wife.
Like he treats his ex-wives. basically. Use them and get rid of them,
Gotcha.
and take them out of TV.
That sounds right.
Anyway, so that's news that hopefully we'll have later this week. We'll know what's going on. We'll understand a little bit more. It's this is America these days. We can have somebody abuse us like the NBA, piss on us, not give us an umbrella, tell us all sorts of lies. And then, 10 years later, we'll
Hey, we've got a
stand
deal for
on
you.
First Avenue and open up our legs for them. So, I don't know. I'm in a salty mood today, Michael.
Salty is fine with me, man.
Yeah, salty. Don't fuck with the Pope.
I paid $5.79 for gas yesterday per gallon.
And you got off cheap.
And that was at the cheap Arco station in South Pasadena.
Wow.
If you want to pay more, you just go to the 76 or the Standard or Chevron, and they'll charge you more than that, happily. And tell you it's raining.
If you go up to Big Sur,
to Gorda,
they'll charge you $9.99 a gallon.
That gas station in Gorda has the distinction of being the most expensive gas in California, and it's the one station that the locals on the coast on Highway 1 refuse to use. They will not buy gas there. And this is not when it's $10 a gallon. This is when it was $4 a gallon. No one will buy gas there. The locals do not buy it. They have to get a unsuspecting tourist pulling in to fill up to do business, because the locals on the coast refuse to do it.
And the owner has said the only reason that he didn't raise it higher is he can't get his pump to go past $9.99 for a gallon of gas. Otherwise, it'd be $15. And
he's willing, right?
He's willing. He's ready to go. Anyway,
and do you think you'll come out and do your windows while the tank's filling?
No, nobody does your windows anymore. I mean, that's if you're expecting that, you'll have some pretty dirty windows before as you pull them out of the driveway.
I would think that some station that has gas is expensive would say, as a treat, as a offering to our customers who are going through this difficult time, we do your windows when you come in, and we check your tires, and we check your oil, and we check your gas. Pop the hood. We're going to check all your levels and your air, and you're going to be taken care of by us.
Well, Michael, I've thought for a long time, and we've discussed this over the years. I think that the biggest deal, the biggest smart deal somebody could make right now that wants to get into a good small business is to buy a gas station, put a row of electric chargers in there as well. Yes. And when somebody pulls into your gas station to replenish their vehicle with what it needs to continue on its journey, you send some kid out with a squeegee and a tire gauge, and you clean the windows and you check the air in the tires. Simple. And you'll have people lined up around the block to get into your replenishment station.
The parking lot at Trader Joe's in South Pasadena has a row of charging. One row is all electric charging, and it's stacked. It's packed. There's never an opening. They have Teslas pulling up and just waiting for a shot. When you're done, I got this one. And it's something that more and more people are going to be doing. And it's a fine idea that more large parking lots should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, that, and also if you don't want to do that, do valet charging.
I
Is
like that.
you pull your car up, Trader Joe's, you get the ticket. Kid takes your car, he pulls it up into the charger, plugs it in, starts it up, cleans the windows, checks the air in the tires. Because really, the most important, well, not the most, but one of the most important things in an electric car is to have the correct amount of air in the tires. If you want to achieve um, the mileage that you would want to get out of a charge, you want to have the right amount of air in the tires. You want to have uh, the tires aren't damaged. You want to make sure that there's no leaks, there's no grease leaks from the bearings in the wheels that attach to the tires that attach to the car. And these are things that people normally don't look at.
Right.
It's something that people, they get in the car, they hit the switch, and they're going to go.
Let's go.
So there you go. So, but that's, that's the thing. And what I am noticing, and I don't want to spend too much time on electric cars this morning, but I will say that for all of the jumping up and down and everything about electric cars, Tesla has gone up their sales, their orders have gone up again. They're continuing to gain momentum. People are buying Teslas. They don't give a crap who owns the company.
Leon has decided to stay out of the news, and it's actually been better for sales. The less of him, the better.
Yeah. I'm sure that probably some of the stockholders have told them, you sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
Just go, go get yourself lost off the coast of somewhere.
That's good advice. May I suggest the United Arab Emirates, somewhere off the coast of the United Arab Emirates? Just go out there until you find the water and get lost.
Find a place and disappear. Don't open your mouth and let us gain some of our money back. But that's the thing, and consequently, I think that electric cars are primed for a huge comeback.
Yes.
Not that they've never really left. It's just the media's perception of what, and our role as people in this society, that we follow everything that the anchor on the 6 o'clock news says.
And that Trump wasn't sure if he liked him or didn't like him. He did both. He disparaged them and he endorsed them. So like all things, he can't figure out which way he's really going. He can't figure out that this would be a good time for the United States to do something for the rest of the world. Instead, he ensures that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. He couldn't open it with the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force. He couldn't open it. He couldn't guarantee it. But with a swift of his Sharpie pen, he ensures that they stay closed. He can do that. He can do a negative.
What a maroon. What an absolute maroon.
We didn't want them closed. I thought it was plain we wanted the Strait open, but he closed it instead.
What a maroon. I mean, really, it's it really is amazing. So
I could point out that you sell more donuts when your donut shop is open. If you want to sell donuts and you close your shop, you got a problem. I see a choke point there.
But as we said just moments ago, I don't know if we said it when we were on or not, but I think that we brought up a good point, is that, with the Pope having Mitre Day at the Chicago White Sox, the Pope Hat Day, at some point here in the not too distant future, if those mitres, those hats, imitation hats that Jerry Reinsdorf and his people are going to be giving out at Comiskey Park here in less than 3 or 4 months, halfway through the season, early August, I think it is. Mm-hmm. The Pope will get those straits open to get those hats.
Damn right.
To Comiskey Park. They'll go. However, they need to go to get
J.D.
there.
Vance talks for 21 hours with the Iranians and comes up with nothing. Send the Pope. Give him a half hour. He'll figure this thing out, and he'll come with some results, Chicago style.
What a waste of humanity. What a waste of life. That J.D. Vance and the whole crew. It's embarrassing to say that they're running this country. It's sad. It's embarrassing. What are they doing? What do they got?
We're going to find out when we get the next election going that they didn't run anything. They didn't manage anything. They didn't put the key in the lock. They didn't turn on the computers. They didn't have the lights on. They never, ever, ever were in charge. They just coasted and tried to confuse us with hyperbole and bombast and chaos, but they never really ran the government. They never governed anything.
Yeah.
They didn't organize anything. They couldn't send a memo.
They got nothing.
They got nothing.
They got nothing. They talk a lot. They got nothing. That should be, instead of "Don't tread on me," that should be what's on the banner that they hang on the flag. We got nothing.
Is that what Kash Patel is? Why his eyes are so wide? Is he afraid someone's going to tread on him?
Well, I think that somebody kicked him in the balls when he was a kid, and it just never straightened out.
There's something wrong there with the expression on his face and the situation that he's in. It's a press conference and the FBI is having something to say. Kash Patel looks like a raccoon that's caught going through your garbage when the lights come on.
Gotta be. There's something wrong with that boy.
There's something definitely wrong.
That boy is touched. He ain't right.
It's true. He ain't right.
He ain't right. And he's making the country ain't right with him, along with him. Through just mass incompetence.
The so-called Justice Department.
I never, the FBI was kind of always the one police department that you thought could get it right. When they went to capture somebody, they didn't shoot him through the chest. They shot him in the knees so that he could stick around for his trial. When
he could limp into his,
like everybody else.
Limp into his arraignment.
Yeah, but they just seem to be able to A, find their man or woman, B, get their man or woman, and C, explain to somebody's satisfaction why they went after this person. This is why we went after this guy. I don't know if I believe you or not, but at least you're telling me. At least you're washing my face. At least you're saying something that explains it to me in some sense. And now he's blown that. He's taken that.
Nothing makes any sense anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Right. The ice, to this, to that, the other thing. We got a fucking plumber running Homeland Security.
Biff Jiggerman, I know him.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Mullaney or whatever the hell his name is, Mark Wayne Gacy.
Mark Wayne Gacy.
You got this guy running the home. It's just.
Let me get this straight. Your first name is Mark Wayne? Yes. Well, what's the last name? Gacy.
Yeah, Gacy. It used to be Mullen, but somebody thought that wouldn't work. We wanted something a little more authoritative, so we went with Mark Wayne Gacy.
But you realize that Mark Wayne is two names made into one. Usually it's the other way around. You take one name, make it into two, or give him a nickname, call him Skippy. But Mark Wayne, that's yeah. I know you think it's a name, but it's not.
And at the very least, you take the first name and you just make it an initial. So
J. Edgar Hoover, L. Ron Hubbard,
M. Wayne Gacy, or something like that. Something to make it look professional.
To make it look like you're not working down at the plant.
Right. Not that there's anything wrong with working down at the plant. God bless you if you are. But if you're running the plant, you probably should have a little bit more on the ball than the guy who's standing at the gate letting people in.
And what do you guys make down at the plant anyway? Because it's this big plant and you don't seem to have a product.
Well, they make something down there that they really don't want to tell anybody about. And thanks to the President Donald Trump, they don't get taxed on their tips. Now, when is the last time you saw somebody at the plant getting a tip?
That's just what I was thinking. Tips are not all that frequent at the plant. Here's 20. Go run and get me a cherry phosphate.
Yeah, nobody pulls up to the plant and orders a cherry lime Ricky and says keep the change.
No, not
cherry lime Ricky. Days. Look it up on Google.
And you'll thank us because it's a tasty treat.
Yeah, it's a matter of fact. I think you can get one at Sonic, if I'm not mistaken. I think you can actually go to Sonic and get a cherry lime Ricky. But yeah, the whole thing is just is screwed up. And now you have in rapid succession this weekend, you have the walking away from the table with the Iranians and having a possibility of maybe in some part fixing this thing.
Do you think J.D. Vance doesn't understand what negotiations are about? How everybody?
I don't think it. I know it.
Because he got back on the plane without negotiating. They just had a talk for a little while. That's not when you get back on the plane. You get back on the plane when you have a deal.
Yeah, you send somebody over there with a the biggest accomplishment in life is writing a third grade level book about hillbillies.
And also hanging out with Jared Kushner for the whole weekend and not falling asleep.
That had to just be a blessed event right there.
He owes the Saudis $2 billion. He's supposed to make profit with his investments and pay them back. And the Saudis are about to find out that it's going to be another Trump deal. There'll be no payback. There'll be no drywall. There'll be no deal. There'll be no plumbers union getting paid. And Jared's got that long look on his face because he's thinking about what the Saudis are going to do to him. And $2 billion worth of torture goes a long way.
Well, if you want to find out, you don't even have to really think about it. All you got to do is look up Adnan Khashoggi and
check the pictures
and move on from there. Yeah. They'll show you the pictures on the internet.
If you want to owe somebody $2 billion, the Saudis are not the first choice.
The old line mob guys have nothing on the Saudis. They use bone saws that go at 10 revolutions per minute.
And that the big hole out in the desert there's lots of choices. It's a huge desert. They got plenty of desert, lots of room for holes.
Yeah, it's so you got Vance leaving, then you got, and by the way, according to some people that are on YouTube with a channel and seem to know somewhat what is going on. I'm not going to give them a lot of credence, but I will give them enough that after having followed them for a long enough time and a number of former administration officials and generals and soldiers and yada yada that they employ and they pay, you think that there are some people that are privy to at least some of this information. Say that one of the reasons that they couldn't hammer out any kind of deal was that they just didn't understand what the Iranians were saying. They were saying something about the weapons, and the Iranians were saying, well, we have these weapons. And the administration took that as, we're going to use these weapons on you. Well, if you don't understand, first, number one rule, right, I think in negotiation is understand what the other people are talking about.
That would be good, but not necessary if you're a Trumpster.
Why would you want anything to do with the truth? Why
Because you're
would
not
you want
listening to
any?
it.
Yeah. The truth generally makes people in the Trump administration break out in a dash, a rash, I should say. I don't know. I don't know. I'm on drugs, Michael. I'm full tilt boogie into some drugs this morning.
So be
So I
it.
don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. So they get that done, right? And so then they get into a pissing war that looks, for all intents and purposes, that like Sunday morning, 1 week after Easter, they're going to declare war on Vatican City.
Well, they weren't getting anywhere with the Iranians. So they thought, look, let's just rag on the Pope for a while, and that'll relieve the situation. Stop people thinking about the Epstein file. Stop people thinking about the Strait of Hormuz. And St. Patrick's Day is past, so we can't concentrate on that. St. Patrick's done till next year. We had a parade and everything. That was our chance. So how strong and how popular can this Pope be? He's a White Sox fan.
Yeah, what can we do? What do we got here? We got nothing. We really don't have anything coming up. I mean, okay, we got Pentecost. We got a couple of Catholic holidays coming up here. One.
So the Feast of Saint Vinnie.
Yeah, but we got nothing really exciting coming up until until Ascension Thursday.
And Christmas is always coming.
Which is, but that's it. So we can dick with them a little bit. So they attacked the Pope.
Thought it was
at
an easy
9
mark.
o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Not any time where the Pope would be up to see it, but at 9 o'clock at night, they go after the Pope. By the way, probably the most loved Pope in what is he in office? He's in office not even a year, right? And the guy is already 25 times more popular than Trump.
And that will remain. That will increase. And who do you think is going to win this pissing contest? Is the Pope's election? The Pope gets elected for a little bit longer than 4 years.
Except if you think that, if you subscribe to the fact that a lot of these fundamentalist Christians, these cats that the the Catholic Church wants nothing to do with.
The Christian
nationalists. Believe you me, the Catholic Church has its faults. We all know that.
Well, they got all the Cardinals yesterday together for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
All the American Cardinals are right on board, and they're all sharp dudes, and they're all saying the right thing. There's nobody saying, well, we don't like this Pope. We're the American Cardinals. We see it differently. We're not gonna get behind Pope Leo. We have our own version of how things should go. But instead, they back him to the hilt.
And people are actually showing up at church. The attendance in the churches are up. If you want to get anything done in Africa right now, you have to go see a cardinal. The popularity of the church has risen, not just because of Catholicism, but because the church is doing meaningful things over there to help the people.
The Pope is saying we're not endorsing anybody who's putting down the poor. We're not endorsing anybody who's taking advantage of the weak, who's waging war, who thinks that the tools of war and the death that is resulting from war is a prideful, wonderful thing to espouse to. To be a part of that world is not to be a part of our world. We're saying no to all of that.
And so they take on the Pope, and the Pope, of course, answers in the way the Pope is supposed to answer. Now, again, he doesn't mention Trump's name. He doesn't mention the country. He doesn't mention the acts of war that they're talking about. He doesn't say, well, we shouldn't be in the Straits of Hormuz. He's just saying killing people ain't right.
It ain't
right there in those 10 commandments that we stick up not in our
Don't expect me to get on your side. That's not what I'm about. I'm
right.
not. You don't have my vote.
I'm not here to raise the flag. I'm here to say we believe that this is supposed to be what happens, and you're not, you know. And I have a few million people behind me that believe the same thing.
And meanwhile, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump endorse the prime minister of Hungary, and the town of Budapest goes crazy because he can't win. After 16 years in power, the endorsement from Trump and J.D. Vance takes him out of power. In 1 weekend, he's through, and he has to concede his election, and he's out.
Well, the Catholics don't forget that everywhere J.D. Vance goes, something bad happens. I mean, he went to visit the last pope, and look what happened.
That didn't turn out quite well enough.
Not for the pope. Now he went over there and campaigned for Viktor Orban, and look what happened to him. He's on the unemployment line this morning.
He was gone before JD could get up the stairs to his 747.
Yeah, he's so JD in his third grade elegy, he's out. Orban is in some room somewhere in Budapest, wishing that the guy never met him.
The hillbilly vote doesn't go that far in Hungary, it turns out.
You know what they want over there? They want a nice, I don't know what they call their stuff, but it's kind of like grappa, and they want to sit at a cafe, want to watch the good-looking women walk by, or the good-looking men, take a couple of swigs of that, and talk about the World Cup.
And you got a city that's called Buda on one side and Pest on the other.
What's wrong with that picture? Nothing.
Beautiful river separates.
Just to top it off, the idiot in charge of our country decides that this morning he's going to release a picture of himself dressed in the robes of Jesus,
healing the sick.
That he's decided that he is going to commit in one of the largest ways possible, blasphemy.
And he usually blames it on the staffer. Well, an unknown staffer released that picture. I had nothing to do with it. I know nothing about it. But he admitted to doing it himself. He put the picture up.
He thought that it would be a good idea. The president of the United States, not a staffer, not a secretary, not a cab driver, not the guy who sits in front of the White House at the end of the gate selling hot dogs, 3 for $10, and you get a CNC cola included with it. No, not those guys. The president of the United States with the big Sharpie and the signature that takes up a half a page.
Got nothing better to do with his time.
He decides that he's going to get an AI. They should have never gave this guy a John Nagy art kit. That was the mistake right there.
That was a terrible mistake.
One of those Nagy art kits. And he decides, I'm going to put up this picture of me as Jesus, and we'll watch the fun really start.
I'm healing the sick. I'm raising the dead. Get a load of me.
Heal the sick, raise the dead, make the little girls go out of their head.
What are you going to do?
He's taking on. He's speaking Johnny Rivers in tongues.
Johnny Rivers or Bon Scott. I don't know which.
I'm sorry, say again?
Johnny Rivers or Bon Scott. I'm not entirely sure who's.
Well, Trump isn't hip enough. I mean, the best I think you would ever get out of him is Bon Scott. You would. And listen, that's nothing against Johnny Rivers.
No, love Johnny Rivers.
Guy was a great musician, great hit singer.
And he survived the rock and pneumonia and the boogie woogie flu. He bounced back from that.
Yeah, was able to climb the mountain of love.
Try that sometime. The mountain of love is not an easy mountain to climb.
took a Harold Dorman song and not that it wasn't a hit before, but he turned it into a white man's hit. When when white people wouldn't listen to black music, he turned around and got Pat O'Day to play it.
Pat O'Day had to stop playing Pat Boone and make room for Johnny Rivers on the top 40.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that kind of information that you get here on this show. So
Had
now
trouble playing the Supremes, but finally came around.
Finally came around. And Seattle's a better city for it. So now, as the Tramps so eloquently asked one day, where do we go from here?
A question asked but not answered.
Yeah. What do you do about this? And what is funnier? Is it funnier that he does that? Or is it funnier that there are people who still will go on social media, whatever their preferred propagandist channel is, and say how wonderful he is and what a great job he's doing for the country and how he has us, number one in the eye of the world, and how the stock market is never as big as it has been. All of this stuff that he's got it all working perfectly.
Gas in California is $5.69 and 9/10. So make it $5.70. And it ain't going to go down until Donald Trump is dead and gone. He's got to be stopped. He's got to be removed from office. He's got to be with restrained. Somebody's got to get to him. And I know a lot of people are hoping that a sniper does the job, but there are ways available to us that we're not using because the Republicans are afraid to vote. But it has to come to that, and the price of gas will defeat him when nothing else will.
Well,
not to mention that we can't get fertilizer for the crops that we're planning to use to feed ourselves.
Well, the same thing that swept him into office will be the thing that sweeps him out, and that is gas prices. People are upset with Biden and Harris,
right?
Because of prices. I mean, they're upset for a lot of other reasons, but prices were.
They were talking about eggs, if you remember. The price of eggs was the example used. Yeah.
The fact that gas was approaching $4 a gallon had people upset.
Well, then they're upset. Then they're upset today too. They should be.
Yeah, but now they're going to see what gas looks like with those numbers on that little scoreboard, that tote board that they borrowed from the Jerry Lewis telethon. They had, Jerry used to get out there and say, all right, let's get the new count. Thank you, Santa Ana. Or Dennis James, who used to stand in front of the cerebral palsy one, or the telethon tote board. It was a thing of beauty. It was a focal point in any telethon, whether it be Labor Day, 4th of July, whatever kind of telethon it was. And because they could change the numbers so quickly. And that's what you have now. You have the ability to change the numbers quickly.
They seem to be going up.
Yeah, so this gas is going to be. I said it 2 months ago. 4th of July, regular gasoline, not diesel, regular gasoline will be sitting at $7 a gallon with no relief, nobody with a plan.
My costs have gone $4.99, $5.33, $5.69. 9/10. That's the way it's gone in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. So, by the way, might I just say that Congress is now making sure that they're running the country in a fine manner. They're spending time this morning investigating the firing of the Presidio, which is
All of them.
what used to be the military base in San Francisco.
Right.
The Presidio has a board that runs it now. Ever since it stopped being a military base, it started being a park. And they're spending their precious resources investigating that because King Donald decided that he didn't want the old Presidio board there anymore. He wanted one that was more agreeable to him. This clown.
And he hates California. Anything he can do to take money
Yeah.
away from California, he will do.
And if the fact that Donald Trump thinks that he can find 4 people in California that are friendly to him, alone should tell you that he's a candidate for Article, 25 or whatever it is. So,
when you lose your marbles,
yeah, you lose them all. You don't usually have a few cat's eyes left around.
No. And what did you call the big marble? The thumper?
The big marble. I don't know if we ever had. We didn't play marbles all that much because you could lose marbles.
Yeah.
We played bottle caps.
You can lose those too.
Well, yeah, but you can also hit somebody with them and they can leave an impression. So you want
you made them fly, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you make them fly. You can, or if you really want to prove you're a tough guy, you could take the bottle cap and bend it with 2 fingers.
No, not me. I couldn't do that.
And if you could do that, you were a badass dude not to be messed with.
Not to be messed with. The Hormuz Straits would be open in your neighborhood.
Right. The Hormuz Straits, the German deli, the Japanese noodle house, anything that was our enemy will be open and running if you can move that bottle cap. So anyway, to make a long story even longer, it's a fucking mess.
It's worse than it was before we got into the war. By entering the conflict, we made it worse all across the board. Made it worse for Iran, made it worse for all the people who were our allies before that. 40 nations now are crippled. All the shipment of fuel to the eastern part of the world, for the Philippines, for China, for Australia, for New Zealand is fucked.
Australia got nothing. Australia, they're sitting around wondering what the hell to do with their holdings. They got all these little beautiful cars.
They got us as their friend. That was their problem. Why is life so weird? Because you were friends with the Americans. That's why.
Yeah, because the premier said, these guys are going to pull out of it. It's a temporary thing. Don't worry about it.
They can pull up. The mountain's coming. They didn't see it.
And they got nothing. So now they're sitting around gas pumps. They got no gas. Saying, when's the cavalry coming?
The Americans aren't coming to fix this.
Yeah, Donald Trump, I'll call them and say, oh, yeah, no, we're going to get it straightened out. Give us 2 weeks.
Or a couple of months or a year. I got some time left. And I'm not really worried about it. And I'm not concerned about it. And I can't be, my attention is on something else. The East Wing ballroom, the color of the drapes in the press room.
The arch.
These are things that, the giant Donnie from Queen's Arch.
The arch. I mean, this guy is going to put a 500-foot golden arches somewhere in the Capitol. That's going to light up at night and say, over 20 billion slaughtered. That's
going to fall over like a card table in the first wind that hits DC.
Yeah. So again, the question becomes, what do we do about it?
There's a lot of fixing that needs done.
There's a lot of repairs that have to be. I don't even think Angie's List could fix this.
This next crew has got to be fixing stuff for the next 4 years. They got a lot of stuff to fix, including the CDC and the measles outbreak and we're a sick country. We're a sick society. This idiot has taken the spirit of America and pissed on it. And there's nothing nothing more sad to me than the idea that America can't get it done because they can't figure it out, because they can't understand the problem, and they misunderstand the solution every time.
Right. It's like we can't.
How can the solution to this war be we close the Straits of Hormuz? We blockade everything. You can't stop it from happening. We're going to stop it from happening. We already stopped it from happening, Donald. Now it's easy for you to close the Straits of Hormuz because they were closed. You didn't close them. You just thought you did.
Yeah. You put up a toll booth. That's what you did. You put up a toll booth. And then you weren't even smart enough to ask if we can get Easy Pass so the ships can keep just moving.
No, they got to stop.
They've got to stop, and they've got to shuffle around for $2 million in spare change in the console.
They will take the Trump coin, whatever it's called, Trumpalicious.
The grift.
Yeah, the grift. They'll take that. I'll take $2 million in Trump money.
Right, the grift. They'll take that. They'll love that.
Yeah.
So you're right. What do you do?
You put Donnie Trump Jr. in the toll booth. Have him collect the money.
Yeah. Talk about somebody with as much brains as Fredo, and his
all the brains of Fredo.
All the brains of Fredo, and all the eptness. Is that the opposite of ineptness? Eptness. All of the eptness of Uday and Kusei, all wrapped up into one disgusting, pussy piece of shit.
There you go.
There's nothing worse, and I know this from experience because I am sometimes like this, is somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, trying to solve a problem. We're trying to. It's just.
And convinced they'll get it right. I'm gonna devote 10 minutes to this and get it done.
Yeah,
it's over. We made a deal. It's done.
Yeah, this is funny. Michael Bradley is one of our regular listeners. If the right thinks that Pope Leo is woke, just wait till they hear about this Jesus fellow.
I'm hearing rumors about him. I'm hearing.
I've heard some stuff about him. I've heard
undercurrent
that he washes the prisoners' feet on Holy Thursday.
That's why Donald Trump is building prisons. Feet washing.
Right, he wants to make sure that people get their feet washed.
Absolutely. Daily.
It is. It's a sad commentary. It is. I hope that I keep looking to, the Mr. Rogers thing is look for the good people.
Right.
Look for the people who can save you. Look for the people who are committed to making things better before the shit hits the fan.
Good neighbors.
The good neighbors, so that you can find them and run to them when things really start to get. And it's hard to find them in this mess, this hot mess of an administration.
Are you a good person? No, I'm committed to the president. Don't look for me to be a good person. I'm a person. That's all I'm going to claim to be. But my allegiance is to the Führer, the great leader, Donnie from Queens.
Donnie from Queens, President Slapdick. He's the only president we've had since I'm alive that has like 6 aliases. The
only one that posted a picture of himself is Jesus healing who? Who's he healing?
Next to his mugshot. That's the best part of it, is when he posts, he always puts it next to it. He thinks the mugshot makes him look tough.
There are people, Christian nationalists, who believe this morning, they believe that Donald Trump was sent to us by God to lead us, I'm not sure where, to lead us into the abyss. like a lemming to the edge of the cliff and then beyond.
They believe, Michael, that he is the one who has been anointed, who has been
A
sent
savior.
to us, who Jesus, who God has chosen to represent his son on for the apocalypse, uh, for the day of reckoning, for the time that
And
we will have to pay the price for the sins.
apocalypse is nothing like hot lips, right? Apocalypse are different kind of lips than apocalypse.
She was cuter. Now,
Yeah.
but again, let's ask the question:
There's
which
two
was
hot
the
lips.
better hot lips?
Well, there's the original. She was
Sally Kellerman, yeah,
right.
and then there was Loretta Swit.
Both good choices.
You know, it's one of those rare roles that was played so well by the person that played it that you can't imagine the role without that person in it.
Right.
You know, I mean that's a pretty good acting feat, even better casting feat. But I mean, you can't imagine MASH without Sally Kellerman. She played the spot, the role so well that scene of her in the shower is emblazoned on your mind forever. You'll take that with you wherever your spirit goes in the world.
And you could get good seats if you brought your own folding chair.
Yeah, and beyond that image of her just holding on when the tent comes down is going to be there.
Holding on to the floor.
Yeah, as will Loretta Swit. When I mean, pick any scene with
When they put
Frank
a microphone
Burns.
under Frank's bed.
Yeah. You're never or there's a scene too that she does when she's talking about her father comes to visit her.
He was an officer, right?
Yeah, he's an officer and he's a tough officer and he's so proud, but she's not gonna get the love from him that she so desperately needs.
Nope.
He's proud of her not for being a daughter, but for being a soldier.
Was she a major? No, maybe Frank was the major.
No, I think she was. I think she was a lieutenant, wasn't she?
Someone will tell us.
Yeah. Anyway, but she, you could see, and there's that scene between them. I forget the character actor's name that played her father, but where she so wants that validation, and she can't get it. He's not going to give it to her.
She's reasoning with him when Klinger walks in a pink taffeta dress.
Yeah, yeah, and you feel for her. You just, no matter how tough you are or what kind of person you are, whether you're a hawk or a dove or a liberal or a conservative, whatever you are,
whether you're a Cardinal or a Blue Jay.
Yeah, you feel in that moment, in that scene. I mean, I don't know if that was who wrote that, if that was just a Gelbart or if that was Ken Levine or who wrote that scene, but my God, you talk about a scene that just sweeps you up into it and says, I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
We all have wanted that approval from our parent or somebody in our lives that we couldn't get it from. And anyway, so it's we're at a point, Michael, where we wonder what will happen next. We're not surprised by anything that'll happen next. I mean, this president, this failure of a human being could unleash a nuclear weapon, God forbid, on Iran.
He can't get Mike Johnson to do what he wants anymore. We've ground to a halt. None of the barely functioning elements of our government are working right now because they can't understand what's needed by the America. They can't come to our rescue. They can't solve the problem. They can't send the right message to somebody. They can't activate the right department in the government. They turned out that the people that we need have been fired. The people that we need have been turned. The people that we need have been bent. People that we need now believe in the cult. They're not there to help you anymore, the CDC. They don't care about communicable diseases. They don't care about war. They don't care about the results. They don't care about negotiating. They don't care about anything. They don't care about Viktor Orban. They were his pal one day. Now he's calling Trump to find out if he can use the beach house in Bimini. He can't get through.
Yeah, he's lost off the coast to somewhere. And he can't find it. His GPS is not working.
My G has lost its PS.
And when that happens, you know how that goes. And that really is, that's the crux of the whole thing, Michael. It's all broken.
We figured it out. Remember that Bob Dylan song, Everything's Broken?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll go and listen to it, because I'm sure if I hear it, it'll pop in my head.
Everything is Broken. That's the name of it. Or just
Everything is broken. All right, I'm going to look at that, because truly, if yet, Michael, and I know we're running up against it, but yet, Michael, I looked at those parachutes opening on Friday.
We got back safe.
And I looked at that capsule coming down, and I looked at those people getting out of the spacecraft.
And it was a good crew. They had a lot of talent. They had a lot of scientific basis
And they were entertainers.
A lot of experience, but they were good people.
Yeah. They all seemed. Did you see the Saturday Night Live? I forget if it was the cold open or was but they did a skit on the crew, the space thing, and it could be the best skit that they've done in years.
I'll watch that. I didn't see it yet.
It was absolutely hilarious.
And these are people who went through what so many astronauts have gone through before, but didn't have the ability or the time or the inclination to explain it. What happens to you when you're in space and you look back and the Earth is getting further and further away from you, and you watch it become just a dot in the sky, and the emotional change that overtakes you and makes you understand how we're doing it wrong, how we've done it wrong. And all you have to do is get the right perspective, and you can see how to do it right.
And that was it, Michael, is that with all of the bad stuff, all of the stuff that you could look at and say, boy, America is screwed up.
The combination of what the Army is doing and what the NASA is doing at the same time.
Looking at those people coming back, looking at the people on the ground in mission control, looking at the joy and elation of these people who were assigned this task of getting this hunk of metal into the sky, past the sky, around another body's sky, and bringing it back again.
Try that
safely. Sometime. It made you feel it made you feel like we're a nation that can do things. That if we don't argue with each other, if we don't have a force that's filling us with hate and this idea that he is the central figure, but that we are e pluribus unum, out of many one,
or out of many none.
Yeah, I mean, it should be e pluribus. You know, when you look at that, maybe it fills your heart with hope. Maybe it fills your heart that if we can just fucking get through,
we can just get past this guy. We can just survive.
That we are stronger than he is. We're better than he is.
Much better indeed, Vinnie. In fact, that's a good place to leave it right there. We're better than this guy.
We're better than he is.
Much better.
Wednesday?
It'll be a wacky day.
The Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see you here at 11:10 or so. No, 10:10. Well, maybe by the time we get things ever straightened out in our life, it'll probably be 11:10.
We'll get the same welcome and thank you that the CBS is giving Stephen Colbert.
When is his last day?
Coming up, I think the end of the month or so.
I'm almost tempted to do, or at least maybe is do a listening party.
Yeah,
Where
okay.
we all get together and we get on Zoom or something like that, and we get, I don't know, 100 of us, and we give everybody the code, and we sit here and we watch it all together.
I'll join.
It feels like it's something that would take that that energy,
break the internet.
yeah, and just do this big listening party. Something that we talked about MASH before, but I remember the last episode of MASH. We had a
I remember
party.
the last episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Although I wasn't into Seinfeld as much as I was into MASH, but we had a big party at my old place on Schrader Street, and people came over, brought a covered dish, and
Baked ziti, Karen's baked ziti.
and we had paper plates,
A covered dish. You come into my house with a dish with no cover? What kind of American are you?
something, at least aluminum foil, something. Maybe we ought to do something like that. Maybe that would be kind of a cool thing to do, because at the very worst, it'll be me and you.
Tuna surprise.
And at the very best, who knows will show up, right?
Exactly.
We can talk among ourselves.
Have a
Michael
good one,
Fuente,
Ben.
peace, love, and Manischewitz. Maybe we'll even get Ken Levine to join us.
And be well, Vinnie. Be very well.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Those are my orders. All right.
I will do so, Captain. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch up with you on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.